And we do that through many ways, but like you mentioned, we have different exchange programs. Some are cultural, some are professional, some are educational. And this is, we send Nigerians to the United States for these programs, and we also send Americans, we bring them here to Nigeria. So at the moment, we're recruiting for 3 different programs. So if anyone is interested in the ones I'm mentioning, they can find them on our website, which I'll mention. So the first is very, very cool. It's called the Foreign Language Teaching Assistant Program. And so this is an opportunity for young Nigerian teachers to go to the U.S. to teach Yoruba language and culture. So people are always surprised by that, but it's actually the students at American universities and colleges get very, very excited to learn this. So they learn about the food, the language, the clothes. So that's a really cool program. So if you're a young teacher and you can teach Yoruba, please check that one out. We also have the Fulbright Visiting Scholar Program. That's targeted more at professors who want to conduct very advanced research in the United States. And then we have the Fulbright Foreign Student Program. So this is targeted more at young, promising faculty members who want to do their doctoral research in the United States. So if any of those appeal to the listeners today, please check out our website so you can see how to apply. But some of the other programs we have, one is called Tech Women. So this one's very, very exciting. We just selected 5 Nigerian women. They're like emerging leaders in tech, and we got to meet them in Lagos before they head out to San Francisco. They'll go to Silicon Valley for 5 weeks, and there they're paired with mentors. They get to learn new skills to bring back to Nigeria. And actually, we met last night with some of them who are from last year's program, doing amazing things. They're doing clean cook stoves, renewable energy. One of them is even a space scientist, so it's very, very impressive program. But we have so many, like the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and those are all on our website, on our social media. So we actually have exchange programs in so many different topics. So there's probably something for all the listeners. They just need to check out our sites.
It's not going to be all the time that we have this golden opportunity of sitting down with you. And we're going to be sitting down, week in, week out to talk to you. And listeners may not be opportune to hear from you week in, week out. How do we ensure that this conversation continues? I really want to ask if our listeners can learn more about programs and initiatives of the U.S. Embassy and Consulate in Nigeria. How?
Of course. So please check out our website, ng.usembassy.gov. So anytime you see the .gov, that's how you know it's an official U.S. government website. So there's lots of websites out there that maybe look like they belong to the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. government, but if it doesn't end in .gov, then it doesn't belong to us. Of course, you can follow us on Facebook, U.S. Mission Nigeria, and then on Twitter and Instagram, we are U.S. in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Let's go straight away to the brain behind this, right? Immediately I learned that you'll be coming in. I've been doing some digging in myself. Incidentally, Fresh FM is actually not new to efforts at chaining spins, fake stories, disinformation online. Mm-hmm. Currently, every Monday here, we have an arrangement with a U.S.-based private foundation, Belinda Gates, like this group Africa Check. They send in stuffs to us, health-related disinformation, and every Monday we call them out here, and it's really been helping our people. I just wonder, now that U.S. government with you, powering this, I'm sure we'll bring a different perspective to this effort. Dr. Kenak Okerim, I just want to ask you, what really is misinformation, and what makes it so difficult for folks to actually deal with it?
Oh, thank you very much, Mayor. Misinformation is very insidious. In fact, more insidious than what we call even disinformation. There is misinformation, there is disinformation, and there is malinformation. In misinformation, information that is false may be given out inadvertently. Out of negligence. So you didn't do your research well, you didn't talk to who you should talk, and you didn't dig in properly, and you give it out. Just that is the commonest one. You receive a WhatsApp message, you share it to 10 of your friends, they share it to 20, they share it to 100, there is actual research that shows that that can reach 1 million people in 1 hour. Just sending one message to 10 people. And it can turn out, in most cases, that message is false. And what makes it more insidious is that often, sometimes in misinformation, there may be an element of truth, but the final picture of that message is false. Okay? So, in disinformation, on the other hand, you have a well-crafted propaganda, especially now that we're getting into politics. Okay? So it's actually packaged all from beginning to achieve a predetermined end. Okay? And you will see a lot more of that now that we're in the exactly 1 year to the national elections. So what we teach and what we'll be showing in the workshop starting from today will be examples. So we'll give you more than 50 examples of disinformation, malinformation, and misinformation. Then we will give participants the step-by-step guide to how to check. We'll also share with them the difference between what a fact is and what an opinion is. We are in the same profession, so I sometimes sit over there and have guests over here, and what they purvey is often purely their opinions, which they want me and you and the whole listeners to accept as facts. We want to share with media practitioners how to identify the difference and to be able to put it to the guests that this is your opinion. It does not represent a fact.
Well,
in fact, there's even a difference between fact and truth. All that we'll talk about at the training, today.
You also want to share with us what exactly are the major components of Project Fact Check Nigeria?
Oh, okay. Thank you. First of all, there was a research. There are 4 major components. There was a research to be able to identify stations we should partner with in the 17 states. I'm glad to say that that independent research put your station as #1 in these parts.
Come on, Fresh Family. No diggity, no doubt, right?
Okay. And that's confirmed by other independent research too. Okay. And so we're partnering with 17 stations. The idea is that we will train reporters, we will train on-air personalities, we will train producers, people from news and programs department on how to identify this. But beyond that, we will also, next phase of it will be to work with them for production of programs. For instance, and that is on 2 levels. One, we will be producing programs ourselves too and sending to you. Okay. For instance, what you've just mentioned, we'll be giving you a weekly fake news debunker. So every week we will take what is trending in society and fact check them. But we'll also want you to produce programs. There may be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Make your choice. There may be entertainment programs. There may be Yoruba language programs. There may be whatever, drama, skits. And you'll be able to talk about it. I saw Dr. FLS skit the other day, and I was just laughing. The one you did with the pastor. Yeah, and the one that was prophesying or something. So we need things like that. We need to be able to share with our listeners how to identify this. So we are training you in order that you cascade the messages down. And then the next component after these trainings, we begin the production and content on air. The next segment will be a national competition, really. The Literary Society, which we are working with, will be having a competition where we want people to produce skits, drama skits, poetry, recitals, performance poetry, whatever literary creative way they can produce things about debunking fake news. And then we will award prizes for this, and that information will be on social media. All the skits produced, we expect like 1,000 will be shared on social media to be able to really take this message down to the grassroots.
You have launched this project in 15 states, and even though we are the pace setter, you are here. We are number 16 now.
Yes.
You want to share with us
we
that?
keep the best for last.
Oh, that's a good one. You want to share with us how has been the experience of the participants? Like?
Oh, excellent, excellent. We far exceeded our expectations. We have two components of the training. One is for media practitioners. For instance, now that we're in Ibadan, you have today and tomorrow for media practitioners. Then eventually we'll be back here to do for the youth training, where we'll train about 100 or more young people directly. Each place we've been to, and we've been to 15 states now. 15, yeah.
15, okay. 16.
This is the 16th one. It's been overwhelming. The quality of and the hunger for how to identify fake news, because everyone is scared about what fake news could cause. A wise man has said that if there's going to be a third world war, it may be triggered by fake news. So we all need to know how to identify fake news. The turnout has been massive. The responses have been overwhelming. We have our halls. We typically, especially for the youth training, plan for 50 or 60, but on the average we get over 100. And we typically limit the media practitioners training to 20 or 30, and we have much demand. So we are hoping that we may have a second phase also where we can. But if we don't, what we are going to do is that at the end of the project, there will be a website, a fact-checking website. All these nearly 2,000 people we are going to train will be an army of fact-checkers. And the project website is projectfactchecknigeria.org, projectfactchecknigeria.org. So every week, by audio, by video, and by text, there will be content debunking fake news. And we expect that all these 2,000 plus people we are training in 17 states will be part of it. And they'll be helping us to debunk fake news.
I must really commend this initiative. Like I said, Fresh FM, we're currently engaging something along this line. We know how it's been working here. Week in, week out, even though we have misinformation sent to us with the fact check also done, we deliver sometimes in all the languages here, Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba, to ensure that the news actually get down to the street. Laudable as this initiative can be, it's also key. Sustainability, another massive factor. What are your plans, especially after completing the capacity building, component of the program? Are we going to have a follow-on initiative?
Yes. We intend to continue, and that is one reason we're partnering with you as a radio station. After this program, we'll be donating equipment to your station and to Dr. Ayefele. We'll be donating equipment. We expect that you would use this equipment for production of programs on this theme of fact-checking. You've already appointed a liaison officer for us. We'll be working with the person all through the coming years to be able to continue this relationship and this partnership. As a trainer, we are very much available to help your people at any time. You just give us a call, send a message, and we'd come. We'd like to continue the relationship, which is why we are going beyond just training and capacity building to actually signing memorandum of understanding with your station to ensure that this relationship can continue. That will help it become sustainable, as well as the fact-checking website that we are putting in place.
In your opening remarks, you harped and touched on something that I believe is also germane to my next question. You spoke about how it takes only somebody to send in a message via WhatsApp, and within an hour, 1 million people can also pick it up. That tells you how fast information can be disseminated. And now in the age of soft phone, right? Smartphone and just what have you. I just want to ask that how will you say that disinformation and misinformation have actually evolved in Nigeria, and the impacts it has both had in people's lives I get it. Before you came in, I was sharing with the anchor of the Fresh Replies. The nation was on outrage a few weeks back when 4 young men, beheaded a young girl, Rufia. And police information made available to the media indicated that after interrogation, the young lad said they got the information via Facebook on how to make money via killings. That is misinformation. You use the word insidious.
Yes, very
Killing a young girl.
Yeah.
That speaks into it. So from your research, how you say that disinformation and misinformation have actually evolved in Nigeria and the impact they've had?
In truth, they've been with us for a longer time than this era. I remember as a young boy growing up in the 80s, we had, then post offices were working, we would receive mail. I would receive mail from my father. And sometimes you get an envelope with a 5-page article about a subject and asking you to please photocopy and share. Okay, yeah. I mean, that was the means of media then. That was the means of communication. So you'll be asked to share and all of that. Then when photocopying became more common in schools, we will share articles and all that. And sometimes a lot of the claims were purely 100% false. What has made it more difficult and what has made it more insidious now is the rise of communications technologies. Now it is easier to reach millions of people, to influence millions
just
of
a click.
people. By a click. Just by a click. It is easy. And what makes it worse too is the addition of video technologies and photo technology. It's not easier to manipulate.
Photoshop.
In the past, we said a photo is believable. As journalists, whatever I mean, if we believe text by 50%, we'll believe photograph about 80%, we'll believe a video 100%. So I saw the video myself, so Jennifer must have said this. But today I can take Jennifer, all I need is half a second of Jennifer's voice, and I can create a 1-hour speech that she never made. All following the cadences of her voice, the tonality of her voice, the way she speaks. And her mother would say, this is Jennifer that said this. But the good thing also is that there are technologies to disaggregate that, which we'll show them tomorrow when we come to fact-checking tools. We'll also show you technologies that you can use to put that same video in, and it will tell you where all the different parts of that video came from. The frames, key frames came from. For instance, weeks ago, there was this video of an Indonesia air crash where 200 people were said to have escaped death by sliding through the escape hatch and escaping. It was shared millions of times on Twitter. It was retweeted hundreds of thousands of times. All fake. All fake. When we put it in a fake news debunker, for instance, and check it, there are 3 different videos. The major part of the video was from an aviation training institute in Eastern Europe. They took from their sites and then they took the second part of that video. The escape part was from the Caspian Airways crash in Iran about 4 years ago. Put the 2 videos together.
Marry them together.
And hallelujah, everybody was saying, thank you, Lord, for saving 200 and something people. Now, that's a positive one that people didn't die. What if they had said Ghana was attacking Nigeria? Yorubas are killing Igbos. In fact, I have those videos, which I'll share today in the training. If you remember a few years ago, just after the last election or during the last election, Yorubas and Igbos virtually went to war in Lagos, if you recall.
That was true. I remember.
It was triggered by someone posting a video on Twitter claiming that Yorubas were burning Igbo shops in different markets in Lagos.
Which never happened.
Never happened. It was a video of 2 years previous taken from Burkina Faso, an arson attack in Burkina Faso, and repurposed for this purpose.
Wow.
So we have a role to play, Mayor, and all of us in the media, to ensure the country does not burn. We must take this as an emergent issue.
You want to share with us, the key methods, that are used to spread disinformation, and especially on social media.
Unfortunately, there are also people and experts who have set up purely to serve politicians and service interest groups who have pecuniary interests in sharing disinformation. Disinformation is deliberately crafted messages given out, fake information given out to achieve an end. Propaganda is a perfect example of disinformation. And politicians now routinely hire experts to do this for them. So one of the ways they do this is by appealing to what we call your unconscious bias. If you're Catholic and they push out anything favorable to Catholicism, you're more likely to share it. If you hate Muslims and anything against Muslims is put out, you are likely to share it. If you hate Christians and anything against Christians is put out, you are likely to share it. So what do I do if I want you to hate someone on the basis of his religion or ethnicity or how he or she looks, race or whatever? I will craft information that appeals to your unconscious bias. So we all need to check our prejudices, we need to check our biases. Before you share something, ask yourself, what Ken said, is it happening? Am I actually unconsciously biased for or against this? Because that is what makes it work. Second thing is that they rely on our being in a hurry. We don't have time anymore to check anything. In the old days, you may take a physical newspaper and you are forced to. But with electronic media, you can flip through many things at the same time. While you are trying to read a news story, an alert is coming in telling you your best friend is doing a live Instagram stuff. You check for a second to see what's going on. Another alert comes to say there's a notification on Facebook about so. You get distracted and you share. So they're relying on, so I keep telling people, take a minute. You may look, like, but before you share, ask yourself, is it possible this may not be true? And we'll share some of the ways it will happen in this training, and hopefully your people will then share with your listeners how to. Simple tools, even available online on your phone. Reverse image tools where you can even put a photo in there and it will show you the first time this photo was used, the first time it was ever used on social media. Because that's one common way they do. They take an old photo of something of 5 years ago and bring it back with another title and another story.
Brilliant conversation we're having this morning. I just want to find a take on this because there is growing debate. How do we tackle this without infringing on people's freedom to express themselves? And the idea that misinformation and disinformation can be tackled without still undermining the benefits of social media, such as free speech. And how do you think governments, citizens, media cannot work together to solve this problem finally?
What Jennifer has said, media literacy. And it's interesting that it's the U.S. consulate that is, helping to spread this. Media literacy. In Scandinavian countries, for instance, media literacy is a part of secondary school, high school curriculum. So children grow up knowing how to check media. They don't just share things the way we share. So they're able to know. So we need to bring this curriculum, we need to bring media literacy into, at the minimum level, senior secondary schools. So that from there, young people grow knowing how to consume media. Knowing that it's not everything, every video you see or every photo you see or every story you read that is true. And knowing how to actually fact check it. Okay? So that is important, media literacy. We will do our own bit of going around and training and letting people know. But it's also on the government level, they need to make this a part of the curriculum for schools.
Wow, what a morning. I must really thank you, Jennifer Foltz, Ike
Thank you.
Okere. I know it's a very tough one, especially when a system where the media, you get rewards. Be able to push out very vast information and content delivered at a very rapid pace. And that's where the problem is. And I also know debunking a lie, if it's not handled professionally, can be very, 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 very difficult. Thank you so much for joining us this wonderful morning. And I can assure you on behalf of the chairman, who is also here live, Dr. Yinka Ifele MON, it's game on. Consider us your partner. The only thing you didn't tell us, I hope some dollars will follow this. Thanks so much for listening. Aja Abale with Bolade Salami and Bayo Falike. Next.